At my bridal shower, my future mother-in-law gave me an envelope with a note, "Prenups kill romance. Real women trust." I laughed, until she whispered, "Sign it, or I'll tell him what you did in Miami." I'd done nothing. But that night, my fiancé accused me of hiding things and cancelled our joint account. I later found out she'd hired a PI and photoshopped pictures of me with a stranger. I showed him the originals. He believed me. But now I don't know who I'm marrying. The man I love, or his mother's puppet. I'm 31, living in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I work in marketing at a mid-sized firm downtown. My fiancé, Nathan, is 34, an engineer with a quiet, steady personality. We've been together 4 years, lived together for 2, and were 6 weeks out from our wedding when everything blew up. Nathan and I met at a bonfire on Lake Michigan, introduced by mutual friends. He was sweet, calm, and unlike anyone I'd dated before. My last boyfriend was a mess. Lots of drinking, lots of lies. Nathan was stability, the kind of man who planned his day, made grocery lists, and called his mom every Sunday. I thought that last one was sweet at first. Turns out, I had no idea what I was dealing with. His mother, Marlene, is 58, a retired school administrator. From the outside, she looks like a perfect Midwestern mom, bakes from scratch, volunteers at church, hosts Thanksgiving in a spotless house. But underneath that? She's a manipulative control freak with a god complex. She smiled a lot during our engagement, but it never reached her eyes. She always had small things to say. Nathan's always been very picky about food. Or, "You don't really plan on going back to work after kids, right?" She wanted me to be grateful for being chosen. She treated Nathan like he was some kind of prince. And I was just a commoner lucky to have his ring. Still, I smiled through it all. I figured she'd calm down once we were married. Then the bridal shower happened. My sister hosted it, simple, fun, mostly women from my side, a few of Nathan's relatives. I was halfway through opening gifts when Marlene handed me an envelope. White, clean, with my name written in perfect cursive. Everyone watched as I opened it. Inside was a single sheet of paper. It said, "Prenups kill romance. Real women trust." I laughed. Thought it was one of her weird little jabs. I said something like, "Guess I'm not real then," trying to brush it off. People laughed. I moved on. But about 15 minutes later, when I was heading into the kitchen to grab more lemonade, Marlene followed me. She leaned in. Smiled. Whispered, "Sign it. Or I'll tell Nathan what you did in Miami." I blinked. What? You know what I'm talking about. Except I didn't. I'd gone to Miami for a work conference nearly 2 years ago. Stayed at the hotel, attended meetings, drank one overpriced cocktail by the pool. That was it. There was nothing to tell. I stared at her. "You're bluffing." She didn't blink. "I'm protecting my son. You have 3 days." I didn't even respond. I walked away, heart pounding. I didn't tell Nathan that night. I needed to process it. But the next day, he came home from work and didn't kiss me. Didn't say much. Just stood in the doorway and asked, "Is there anything you want to tell me?" My stomach dropped. Like what? He pulled out his phone. Something about Miami. Then he showed me 3 photos. Blurry, poorly lit. A woman, me, or someone who looked like me, at a rooftop bar. A man's hand on her back. Her head tilted like she was laughing. A cocktail in her hand. I took a long breath. That's not me. Natalie, I swear to God, that's not me. Look at it. The face is off. That's not even my hair color at the time. He sat down. Quiet. I could see the doubt in his eyes. Did my mom say something? I didn't answer right away. He said, "She told me to look into Miami. She said she had proof." I just stared. You're really going to let her poison your head with that crap? He didn't answer. The next day, our joint account was frozen. The one we set up for wedding expenses. I called the bank. He'd called them the night before and removed me from access. That was the moment I snapped. She wanted me to feel powerless. She wanted to scare me into signing away any claim to anything Nathan and I built together. But I wasn't about to roll over. I spent that weekend digging up every piece of proof I could from Miami. I called Lauren, my coworker, who'd been with me the entire trip. We still had shared photo albums. She had time-stamped videos of us at the conference dinner. My hotel app had my check-in and location data. Even Uber receipts. Then I looked at the photos Nathan had been shown. The ones Marlene somehow had. I zoomed in. The woman's ring was on her right hand, not the left. The bar logo in the background had been edited, it didn't even exist. And the lighting on her face didn't match the shadows behind her. I put it all together, printed it, and sat Nathan down. This, I said, pointing at my receipts, is where I was. This, I said, pointing at the fake photos, is what your mother created. His face dropped. She had you followed? He asked. Or she paid someone to fake it. Either way, she blackmailed me. She tried to make me sign something under a lie. He rubbed his hands over his face. I believe you. Okay. Then tell me, do you still believe her? He looked broken. Like his entire world was spinning. I don't know, he said. She's my mom. That's when I knew this wasn't just about the prenup. It wasn't even about Miami. It was about control. She wanted to run our marriage before it even started. And he was letting her. So I made a decision. I wasn't going to be the sweet fiancé anymore. I wasn't going to stay quiet. If Marlene wanted a war, I'd give her one. And I wasn't going to fight fair. After I showed Nathan the proof, I told him I needed space. I packed a small bag and went to stay with my sister. I needed time to think, but more than that, I needed him to feel the hole I left behind. The next day, I went to a local law office and sat down with a friend of mine from college, Callie, now a family lawyer. I told her everything. Showed her the fake photos, the note, the bank info, all of it. She leaned back in her chair and said, "You realize what she did was blackmail, right? You could go to the police." I shook my head. Not yet. I want her to feel this. Not just legally. I want her exposed. Callie nodded slowly. Then let's play this smart. With her help, I drafted a clean, airtight timeline of events, backed by documents, receipts, and expert statements on the doctored photos. Then I started digging into Marlene. If she was going to drag me through the mud, I wanted to know where her dirt was buried. Turns out, Marlene wasn't the picture-perfect mom she pretended to be. I found an old court case from 10 years ago, sealed, but mentioned in local court listings. She'd been accused of fraud when she was working for the school district. Something about inflated budgets and missing tech funds. Settled quietly. No charges. But it was there. Then I did something bold. I called her. "Hi, Marlene," I said, calm as ever. She didn't say anything for a second. "Thought you'd be in hiding," she finally snapped. "I wanted to give you a chance. A final one." "To do what?" "To confess. To Nathan. About what you did." She laughed. "Oh, sweetie. I protected him. From you." "No," I said, "you tried to break us. And you failed." She went quiet. "So here's the deal," I continued. "You tell Nathan what you did. Or I will. And when I do, I'll also show him your past. The fraud case. The sealed court records. You want to talk about trust? Let's talk about what you kept hidden." Silence. Then a quiet, venomous reply, "You think you're so clever." "No," I said. "I'm just not scared of you anymore." I hung up. An hour later, Nathan called. His voice sounded raw. "She told me." "What exactly did she say?" "She said she did it because she thought you were using me. That you only cared about the money. That you had a past." "And you believed her?" There was a pause. "No," he said. "Not anymore." I let that sit for a moment. "She said you threatened her," he added. "I told her I'd expose the truth." "If that's a threat, so be it." He exhaled. "I want to fix this. I'm not coming back just because you say that." "I know. I don't know how to undo what she did." "You can start," I said, "by choosing who you're really loyal to." He didn't answer. 3 days passed. Then I got a text from Nathan, "Come to dinner tonight. Just talk. Please." I almost said no. But part of me needed to see where he stood. When I showed up at his apartment, it was just him. No Marlene. Table set. Candles. But I didn't sit down. He handed me a small folder. Inside was a new prenup, one I had written, with Callie's help. Fair. Honest. Protective of both of us. Signed by him. "I talked to a therapist," he said. "Alone. I realized I've spent my whole life being scared of disappointing her. I don't want to live that way anymore." I stared at him. "I'm sorry," he said. "I should have trusted you first." I nodded. "Yeah. You should have." He looked broken. "I'll make this right," he said again. I left that night without giving him an answer. Because my story wasn't over yet. Marlene had gone too far. And I wasn't done with her. 2 days after that dinner, I got a text from a blocked number. No words, just another photo. This time, it was of me walking out of Callie's law office. Then another, me and Callie having lunch the week before. Then a third, Callie hugging me outside her car. The message finally came in, "So now you're sleeping with your lawyer?" I froze. My hand started shaking. Whoever sent that had been following me. I called Callie immediately. She picked up on the first ring. "We have a problem," I said. She sighed. "I just got the same pictures. Sent to my work email." We both knew who it was. Marlene wasn't done. She'd lost the prenup battle, so now she was trying to poison everyone else around me. Smearing me. Threatening my career. Trying to wreck Callie's. I wasn't angry anymore, I was focused. I called Nathan. "You need to tell your mother to stop," I said. "She hasn't returned my calls." "Then it's time I talked to her face to face." He tried to protest, but I hung up. I drove straight to Marlene's house. Her car was in the driveway. I walked right up and rang the bell. She opened the door, all polished and pleasant. "Natalie," she said with fake surprise. "You're following me now?" I asked. Her smile didn't move. "You sent pictures to Callie's office." "That's harassment." I simply shared my concerns. Lawyers can be very persuasive, especially with vulnerable clients. "You crossed a line," I said. "And this time I'm not just walking away." Her smile dropped. "I've already filed a report," I lied. "Next time I won't just warn you." "You wouldn't dare, I'm not scared of you anymore. And if you come near me, my friends, or my fiancé again, I will make sure everyone knows who you are." She looked stunned. Then she laughed. "Nathan's weak. He'll always need me." "Maybe. But he's learning who you are. And so is everyone else." I turned and walked away. That night, Nathan showed up at my sister's place with a duffel bag. "She sent the pictures to my boss," he said quietly. Claimed you were having an affair and that Callie was helping you take my money. Jesus. She crossed the line. I told her I don't want her at the wedding. She said if I marry you, I'm dead to her. I didn't speak. He looked up at me. I still want to marry you. I was quiet for a long time. Then I said, it's not about wanting to marry me, Nathan. It's about protecting me. Because right now, I'm doing all the fighting. And if we do this, you need to be the one to stand between me and her. Not just apologize afterward. He nodded slowly. I'm ready. We sat in silence. But I wasn't done yet. Because what Marlene didn't know was that while she was following me, someone else had been following her. And I was about to find out everything. I hired a private investigator. I know, ironic. But I needed to know what I was really up against. This wasn't just a controlling mother. This was someone who would lie, forge evidence, ruin careers, and stalk people just to get her way. I told the PI, his name was Doug, that I wanted everything. Every skeleton, every slip-up, every quiet little scandal Marlene had tried to bury. It took less than 2 weeks. Doug handed me a flash drive, a printed report, and one sentence, she's worse than you think. Turns out, Marlene wasn't just toxic. She was dangerous. The fake Miami photos? Created by a guy she'd paid in cash, an ex-employee from her school district who ran a shady media service now. Doug found the guy. Got his statement. Even got him on camera, admitting it was all staged from stock photos and altered with AI tools. The harassment? Documented. The texts, the emails, the pictures sent to Callie's firm and Nathan's boss. Doug traced the email accounts back to a private network at Marlene's church. She'd been using the church Wi-Fi to send anonymous messages. How holy. And then came the big one. Marlene had a history. Years back, she'd gotten into trouble for manipulating school funds to help her brother's construction company get jobs. The school quietly pushed her into early retirement to avoid a public scandal. Doug found former staff who confirmed it. One even had emails she'd kept just in case. I sat with Nathan and laid it all out. The fake photos. The harassment. The fraud. His hands were shaking. She lied to everyone, he said. To me. No, I said. She told you exactly who she was. You just didn't want to believe it. He nodded, tears in his eyes. I need to fix this. You can't fix it, I said. You can only stop letting it ruin us. We made a plan. First, I met with Callie. We compiled the report into a clean, professional legal complaint, no criminal charges, just a very public cease and desist, with the full threat of exposure. Then, we sent the full report, every photo, every screenshot, every receipt, to 3 people. The pastor of her church, her HOA board, and the school board where she used to work. I didn't want to press charges. I wanted to ruin her mask. The fallout hit fast. She was removed from a church committee she ran for 12 years. Parents from the old school district started asking questions on Facebook. Rumors started to spread. And since Doug had found that she was still helping her brother get city contracts through old contacts, we leaked a few of those emails to a local watchdog group. Then we held our wedding. Small. Quiet. No drama. She didn't come. She wasn't invited. Nathan and I exchanged vows under a rented tent in a friend's backyard. Just close friends, my family, and peace. After the wedding, Nathan sent her a letter. You had a chance to be part of our lives. You chose hate. I'm done being your pawn. We haven't heard from her since. It's not a perfect ending. There's still hurt. Still cracks between us from what she did. And I won't lie. Part of me still resents Nathan for how long it took him to choose me over her. But I chose myself first. And that's why she lost. Because the moment I stopped playing nice, she couldn't control the game anymore. She tried to scare me. Now she has to live with the truth. And this time, I have all the receipts.